Hello, I'm Lydia Steeves, and today I'm going to show you how to do this frame treatment. So I have done this on this frame, but today I'm going to be doing it on the bottom of this memory box that I've already painted her, and now I'm going to show you how to do this on the memory box. Now, first thing you'll need to do is get out your stencil, and this is a mixed media Andy Skinner stencil from DecoArt called Bubbles, and we're going to be using the modeling paste, one of the DecoArt media series. This comes in white, clear, and black, and today I am using the white. I'll just show you on this little piece of wood. You want to put it on evenly . And just scrape off as much as you can as you're coming along. The bigger bubbles will be the ones where you'll really have to make sure that they're pretty smooth. So you'll just take a big dip of the modeling paste, and you will smooth on through. Now you could have painted your wood already, or you can paint it later. Paint right over this stuff. Okay, so we'll just peel that off. And you can see, just run your palette knife down the sides just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And you have a nice thin raised bubble. Now, the next thing to do is to pick your colors. And I've gone with all the bubble colors that I used in the actual picture. And you'll just get a nice big brush, and you will slip, slap your paints on. And for this one, I just allow these paints to mix. So that just means you have to keep an eye on what colors will mix nicely together. Now, I did this treatment for one in my book, and I didn't do the wet on wet because I didn't like how the colors were mixed together. But for this one, it works just quite nicely, actually. So I've got blue violet, I've got bluegrass green, and sour apple. So the big thing is, on this particular step, is to make sure that you don't have any of the little white bits showing. So I would go in here and just make sure that you put all the paint up. You're trying to paint between the bubbles more than the actual bubbles, although obviously you'll be painting those as well. Okay, so it doesn't have to be super one thing or another. Just put the paint on, and if you see you get some dirty colors in there, If that bothers you, just wait for it to dry and come back. But the blue and the vivid violet work really well together. And the blue and the bluegrass green work well together. Oops, big chunk there. So just kind of go from one to the other, and then get some mixing as well. Then I'll go roll into the sour apple again. Like I say, just make sure you don't have any white bits left. So really chunk it on. And so probably if you were going to change it for something else you wanted to do, maybe 3 colors is good. And okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and if there's any patches I want to change, like for instance there, I might just go back and pump up the pink and make it quite bright. Alright, so I've just dried that. And now I'm going to go back and, just like I say, pump up the pink especially, because it doesn't cover maybe as well as some of those other colors. Plus I just like to have a little bit more mixing, I think. I mean, we do have a couple more steps of things, but I don't like that color, so I just think, I keep calling it pink, but it's vivid violet, so see, I just want to have that a little bit nicer. So, I mean, you can play with it, make sure it's what you want. You don't have to spend too much time on it, though. If you don't have to be too fussy. I like the blending of the colors. Some people might want to keep the colors a little bit more separate. And obviously, if you like blue, you'll have more blue. And if you like pink, you'll have more pink. Let's see. There, I think that's as good. Like I say, you don't really have to fuss that much because we have so much more coming on top of it, but I think I'll just let that dry, and then I'll show you the next step. Now, the next step is using this DecoArt Media Antiquing Cream. And this also comes in a bunch of colors, and we're using the white today. So I'm putting it on with this lunar blender. Well, actually it's a lunar mop. So you're going to be looking for a brush that you can push down and kind of scrub in, so that, again, you make sure that you get good coverage. It doesn't have to be like super solid as far as, you know, being pure white, but you do have to get all this antiquing cream in between all those bubbles. So you can, we're not looking for that. We're looking for that kind of coverage. So I just found this brush in my stash, but maybe you could find a deerfoot might work. Nothing too stiff though, because I think the stiff brushes will just kind of put it on and kind of take it off at the same time. So I'm going to go all the way up here, even though I don't have the bubble. I left a little space for the lid so that these lids, these boxes, the lids fit really tight, so I can't put any extra texture where the lid's going to be, which is why I left it. Okay, well, you get the idea on that. Okay, so that was completely dry, and I gave it a little buzz with the hairdryer as well. And now you're going to get a shop towel and dampen it. Not too wet. If it's too wet, it'll take too much of this stuff off. You don't really have to rub all that heavy. Okay, just ever so gently rub off so the idea is that you rub off the raised parts and leave the white in between. Now you can rub off a fair bit, depends on how bright you want this. and you'll figure out what you like as you go along. Probably take off a little bit, and then you can always come back and take off a little bit more. And I'll just rub a little bit off of the top there too. And then just keep turning your rag around, and you might have to dampen it again, but if you take too much off, you can continue around, finish it all up, add more of your antiquing cream, let it dry completely, and then you can just rub it off again. There, I think I kind of like about like that actually. You want to take some, yeah, you want to take some of it off and release those pretty colors. So maybe that will come off. And you can take off a little bit between as well, or that usually ends up coming off a little bit anyhow. You see? All the colors look really pretty. Alright, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. There's the lid. And I've already got that all varnished up, and I'll just varnish that up with regular varnish, and I will have another memory box. Hope you have fun with that. Take care. Bye.